Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. Today we're going to be talking about something that's a little vulnerable for me. We're going to be talking about this idea that business ownership is more about figuring out a puzzle than it is being in competition with other people. And it may sound strange that you would think this is vulnerable, but I'm going to be talking about how this has been challenging for me trying to figure all of this out. And it really has been challenging. My journey into business ownership was quite interesting. I've been a serial entrepreneur, and my endeavor into business ownership in coffee came as a surprise at a time when I was heavily steeped in my music business, and Elixir was a surprise it showed up with it was a happy accident. And I'd never really had a serious business that dealt in physical product. And I knew that this had to happen. And navigating my way through this kind of a business was interesting. And it's taught me a lot about how I did business before Elixir. And it's helped me prepare for how to do business with Map It Forward. If you're not in business and you're listening to this and you think that business is super easy, I want to say that thing that I'm sure all new parents say to people who think that being parents is going to be different for them than it was for everybody else. Apparently everybody that has a baby thinks that their baby's never going to cry and that their baby's going to behave well, etc., etc. I hear the same thing from all first-time business owners. Yes, they're excited. Yes, they can't believe that it's finally happening to them. And that's wonderful. Same as with brand new parents. Full disclosure, I have no children, but I'm one of those people who at one point thought, well, if I had a baby, my baby wouldn't cry the whole way through the night. The analogy that I'm making with business has helped me decide that I never want to have a baby because both my businesses are like children that I lose sleep over and that I think about all the time and that I try and make sure that I take the best of care of. And they feed me and nurture me at a deep, deep soul and intellectual level. And I feel a lot of reward from all of this. But owning a business is so fucking hard. And every single business owner I speak to says the same thing. It's not always hard. It's not always flying by the seat of your pants. It's not always you've got no money in the bank and you have to watch every single penny you spent. But listen to enough episodes of the Map It Forward podcast, the long format one, not the Daily Coffee Pro, and you will realize that pretty much every single person who's come on the Map It Forward podcast and talked about what it was like to own a business is openly saying that it is so fucking hard. And there are times when you get better at it and you feel that finally I figured this business thing out. I'm good. And those of us that have been doing this for long enough, I'm going on 15 years of business ownership now, we know never to get too comfortable. because it's not that something bad is ever going to happen. It's not about that. Have the right things in place, like insurance and pest control and good people and a great lawyer and an accountant, all that kind of stuff. It's not that bad things happen to you. It's that new things happen to you. New challenges happen to you. New situations happen to you. New growth spurts happen to you. And they make shit hard. And so what the way of experiencing business, the way that I look at business now, is I've started to see it as a puzzle. And I think that's my first way of being able to define it. Before now, because I'm not a competitive person and both of my business don't have competitors. So I've never known how to be competitive in that space with regards to the coffee industry. I can't turn around and say, oh, well, so we have 10% of the elixir market. We're the only people making elixir in the world. And I can't say, oh, well, so we have like 50% of the market when it comes to career and business development in the coffee industry. Well, no, because there isn't anybody else doing that. So competition, as someone who's always focused on innovation and doing new things, competition is never my focus. Understanding things and figuring things out, a la it's a puzzle, is the way that I look at things. And I've realized that what I have focused on, so this is the 4th year Elixir's been in business. I have made the mistake of doing what I do well continuously and focusing on that for the last 4 years. And what I realize is that I'm not going to solve any more of the puzzle that exists by doing that, because this puzzle has only just started to come together. And it's not like a flat puzzle. This puzzle is like a really long mechanized something, I don't know what, like a machine that I'm trying to pull together using tools and bolts and other people's labor and knowledge and all of this stuff to come together to put this machine together that works and flows. And I have no instructional guide. But I do know what I don't know. And I do know what I kind of know and need to know more of. And I do know what the things are that are stopping me getting access to finding clues that will get me the pieces that I need for what I'm doing. And for me personally right now, and I even feel emotional admitting it, even though I've already admitted it on this podcast before. But for me, the thing that I find ridiculously challenging is generating revenue. Because there's like a part of me that sucks at selling. There's a big part of me that sucks at selling. And I'm great at closing deals. I'm really, really great at that. But I'm just terrible at identifying who should be buying what I've got to sell, whether it be Elixir or Map It Forward. And for me, admitting what I suck at, it's not that it's hard, it's just vulnerable. And admitting that I have a long path ahead of me in learning how to do this well. I really do. It's not easy for me to figure this out because I don't know how to figure it out. But the thing that keeps me going is the fact that business for me, and it is for all of us, but for me, I'm conscious I'm extremely conscious that this is the case, and I use business for this reason. Being in business teaches me everything that I never wanted to know about myself, or that I never wanted to know that I needed to know about myself. And so learning how to get out there and sell and generate revenue rather than counting on other people to do that for me is teaching me about parts of myself that are helping free me from some of my own shackles. And so a couple of examples of that are, I'm starting to be acutely aware of the connection I have between sales and my sense of self-worth. This idea of, but what if people don't want to buy what I have to sell? And it's learning how to deal with that reality. And is that a sense of rejection towards me? Are they telling me that I'm a shit human, or I'm not worthy of buying from, or whatever? And it's learning how to dissociate from that and realizing that my self-worth isn't connected to a product. My self-worth is connected to my self-worth. And so that's another part of the Lee puzzle that's being put together by being highlighted through the work that I do as an employee of Elixir Specialty Coffee and as the ship steerer of Elixir Specialty Coffee. And so I invite you guys, if you are a business owner, to cut yourself some slack, because we are really hard on ourselves, and it is really difficult being in business. I'm going to say that again for the second time or third time this podcast. It's really fucking difficult being in business. But there are wins in being in business that money cannot buy. And it's the little things, the moments of when you don't even realize that you put a piece of the puzzle, you added a new piece to the puzzle that fit, and you weren't aware that you did. And it's moments like walking into a cafe and seeing somebody drink a bottle of elixir, and I don't know that person. They're not buying it because they're trying to support me as a business owner. They're just someone who buys elixir. And sure, like, I'm proud of that, but a part of me is so beyond proud of that. I created this, and I had the guts to create a business out of this product that I created. And I left my home country and came to another country and had the guts to back myself. That's what exists in that moment. That's something. It's a moment of pride that no amount of money can buy for anybody. They're the moments that we live for as entrepreneurs. And it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it, because everything that it took to get here means that I became a better human for myself and for the people around me. And that's absolutely worth it. On that note, peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. You've got this. You've absolutely got this.